Let's see if we live right now. Let's go to restream. And let's go to view on that gent. Let's see if we live right now. Oh yeah, we live. We live. We live. We live. We live. All right. Whew. Y'all, I had a rough morning this morning. I've been trying to get this thing to start up for the longest time. Um but it just acted like it really acted like it didn't want to do what I needed it to do. So it's been tripping. I said we weren't going to do this topic again, but it's just a lot going on as far as the world goes, and we do need to continuously keep an eye out about the things that are going on because there's signs that happen with inside of the world as well. Um, but this is one of those things that's going to take the cake for us, right? The reason why this is going to take the cake is because simply this: the identity politics that are going on in the world are going to get people messed up. It's going to mess people up completely. And the reason why that is because they're going to automatically think that people are operating for their best interests, even though they're believers. So I want to show y'all this video, and this is a commentary from a guy on YouTube. This creator's name is Trinius Henderson, and I promise you I'm gonna put the original video in link at the bottom. Where in the I'm gonna put the original I'm gonna put the I'm gonna put the video at the bottom of it. And I know I'm studying right now because a lot of times when I'm doing this, um original I don't y'all know I don't be ready for this stuff. Like I just be going live just when I want to go live. I don't even be all that little extra stuff that y'all be talking about and all of that. I don't be really doing all of that stuff, man. I just get on live when I want to go live, and that's what it is. That's it. It ain't really nothing complicated about it. Like it's never been anything complicated about it, right? So um, so the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because when we look and see what's going on right now, we can see right here that there's a lot of things going on um, with inside, like how they're pandering to the black community. That is, it's crazy. It is crazy how they're pandering to the black community, and we see this every single time election comes. They put out the hottest artists. They want to entertain us and lull us into they want to entertain and lull us into becoming um, they want to entertain and lull us um, into becoming voters instead of actually having a conversation about policy and things like that. I really do think that they don't take black people serious as far as voting goes. I think the black voting bloc is a joke to both parties, not just one party, but mainly one party in general. They treat us like children in a lot of instances. And this is a commentary that I was watching, and I found it very interesting because it kind of goes into exactly what Dr. Umar Johnson was talking about when he said when we vote, we need to be voting for things that are going to give us tangibles. And those tangibles, it has nothing to do with you coming to my city and shaking my hand and kissing babies. It has to do with what kind of policy are you going to actually give us, vice versa of you going to throw out some candy and say vote for me. Like this is not class president. This is somebody who's going to run the country. And the policies that they agree to with inside of the scheme of how we have government is going to affect our children, our children's children, and as well as our next 4 years. So it's very important to not vote for somebody just solely because they're black or just solely because they that they come to your church and say vote for me and this and the third. Like that is not the reason why we should be voting. You should not be voting about for anything other than the policies that this person is going to put out. And you can check a person's track. And policy is one of the barometers that people cannot dodge. because you can look at the policies of a person, their political track record, and see what their voting status is, and what they voted for, and what they didn't vote for, and how they, you can see all of these things, and we have political trackers online to see these things, but we have to maintain that we have to stay vigilant about how we vote, especially as black voters, especially as black men with a voting block that says, you know, this is what we want, this is what we don't want, right? So we have to, of course, be careful, very, very careful about what we allow people to say and to do when they're actually trying to get our attention for their own political prowess. So this again. I'm gonna go to this video. It's about 19-minute video. I don't think I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I'm gonna show you guys the whole thing. I really want you to watch and see what this looks like to the black community, because there are a lot of creators that I've seen who have done commentaries on this particular rally that Kamala Harris had just did. And during this rally, it was more along the lines of the messaging of this rally was more along the lines of, I'm not Trump, so vote for me. I'm going to bring out Meg Thee Stallion, so vote for me. I'm going to entertain you to death so you can vote for me. And then there was another report from an independent source that was saying that there were people after Meg Thee Stallion had left and got off the stage. The people actually started to leave this rally in Atlanta. So I'm gonna go to the video, and we're gonna go straight to the video so you can see what I'm talking about, and then we'll just break it down from there. Cool beans? Yeah.
So we all know what the talk of the city is right now. Kamala Harris and President Trump, and the election is coming up in November. That's the hottest news right now. And the reason why it's the topic of discussion right now is because if Kamala Harris, Kamala, okay, because they was making fun of people that just calling her name wrong today, like it really makes a difference in who this lady is. If Kamala Harris becomes the president, she will be the first woman president in history to be voted into presidency. Not only that, she will be the first colored woman to be voted into presidency, because she's not technically black. She's not technically an African-American woman. But I think everybody knows that. And if everybody don't know, now you know, okay? But anyway, Kamala Harris done started on her campaign trail, and she just did a rally in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, wow. Atlanta, Georgia, of all the places to go to, she would go to Atlanta, Georgia first. You know why? Because that's where all the Dems at. That's where all the black people at. And she just threw a rally down in Atlanta, Georgia. She didn't really say nothing when you watch this video. And then she had Quavo from the Migos, the rapper from the Migos, give his little speech. Shouts out to Quavo. But it sounded like he was just doing ad-libs for one of his hottest songs or something. And not only that, what really gets me is that she even invited Megan Thee Stallion to the rally. And Megan Thee Stallion performed. And Megan Thee Stallion is twerking at the rally, like it's a pep rally or something. Like I don't know, man. I'm an African American, but I don't even condone this stuff when it comes down to trying to win the president position. Roll the clip.
Thank you, everyone. Can we please hear it for Tyler? I want to thank Tyler for that incredible introduction. I invited him and several other young entrepreneurs to come and visit with me at the White House, and we had a really very long and important conversation about the future of America. And Tyler, you represent the best of our future. Thank you for that. Thank you. And please give it up for Quavo and Megan. So it is so good to see everyone. And let me also thank our... So let's get right down. So I'm gonna get into some business now. Okay, I'm gonna get into some business now. All right. So, Georgia, as many of you know, before, and have a seat if you have a chair.
You can't understand the struggles of gun violence if you're not in the field or in the heart of it. So one thing I learned about working with Vice President Harris is she always stand on business. What's up, Mama? From inviting me to the White House last year to discuss these solutions to passing the biggest gun safety laws today. So it's only right in the birthplace of the culture. It's also the same place to launch the first African American woman to run for president.
Does she think Megan Thee Stallion twerking at a political event is supposed to secure the black vote?
Girl, really?
If you wear booty shorts to your children's graduation, this is not the video for you. If you listen to Sexy Red on your way to church, this is not the video for you. If you work in public service and you pop bubble gum while you're talking to customers, this is not the video for you. Today, Megan Thee Stallion was twerking and gyrating at Kamala Harris's event or rally in Atlanta. And I have nothing against Kamala. And I have nothing against Megan Thee Stallion. But this was not the time or the platform to be shaking your ass and twerking for the world to see.
And I excuse the language.
Man, I'm all for Megan.
And excuse the language. Y'all know I don't do a lot of language on here. But the reason why this was important for us to bring up is because this is the same thing that they do to us all of the time. Like they would pander to us. And this is both parties, so don't get it twisted. I'm just showing this as an example of what it is that we're dealing with. Like what we're dealing with right now is an issue. Like I don't want people who are looking to be leaders of a country to try to lull me to sleep, to think that that's the way to get me to vote for them. Like I find it highly disrespectful for the entirety of her speech to not really be about what her political stance is going to be, but more along the lines of, I'm going to entertain you, bring out the hottest entertainers, and that's what we're going to do. Now, I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, you know, Donald Trump had what's her name was? What's the bald head lady? I forgot what her name is. Light-skinned bald head lady. I forgot what her name is. Y'all can tell I don't pay attention to these celebrities and stuff. Kanye West's old girlfriend or whatever she was. When she got on there, she wasn't really there to entertain anyone. That wasn't her purpose. Her purpose was to use her celebrity to talk about the platform that they were going to give. Right? Yes, there's entertainment and all of this stuff at these political rallies. However, when it comes to the actual person who is standing there, specifically like and it doesn't matter if they're running for governor, it don't matter if they're running for Senate, it don't matter if they're running for president, it does not matter. Yes, this is a pep rally. This is to get people hyped, people energized. But when it comes to the voters, right? And when it came to Obama, there was a message that was there. And that message geared us to understand what his policies were going to look like. He was very articulate in how he was going to structure his policies, right? However, when it comes to these new pundits, and this is what they do, they're listening to their younger cabinet. They're looking to the younger cabinet to let them know what it is that they think that the American people actually want. And a lot of times these cabinet members are so out of touch because economically where they come from or educationally they come from, they're not the normal American person. They're just not the normal American. So they're coming at it from an aspect of not really realizing what it is that the average American person wants to understand. They want you to actually talk about. They want you to actually make policies to affect. Now, there are two things that have been talked about with inside of the Democratic Party at this moment that they want to push, and specifically with the platform of Vice President Kamala Harris. What she wants to push is the whole thing about, Roe v. Wade, right? That's one of them. And then the other part about that is the whole thing about immigration. So she's running away from immigration, the conversation of immigration, because how poorly she's done with the border as the border czar, even though she doesn't want to say that she was the border czar, and they've been telling us that she wasn't the border czar, even though it's been all over every single news platform. She was the border czar. Even Joe Biden, even without the title, she was the one who was placed to handle the border, and we see what kind of border crisis we have right now. So she doesn't want to have the conversation about the border, although that's going to be a part of it. And the reason why these things and these topics are so important, so very much important for us to have a conversation about, is because this is what the average American wants to have policies to correct. You have the economy. We know the economy right now is not good. Gas prices are going up. Housing costs is going up. I bought my house for $265,000 about 8 years ago, right? My house right now is priced at $450,000, right? Close to about $450,000, right? Now, and I gotta go look at the latest update, but I know it's going up to over $400,000. So that's a good thing for me. But what about the person that's going to be trying to purchase my house, right? What about that person that's going to try to purchase my house? Everybody can't afford a $500,000 house. Everybody can't afford to build a brand new house. Even some of these houses that are not even worth $300,000 are $300,000. We got fixer uppers that are going up in price, right? People are going to have to leave the cities to go out into the country, to go out into the other counties, right? In order to be able to survive. Rent is up. It makes no sense why a 1-bedroom apartment where I am should even be close to $2,000, right? It shouldn't be. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. But because of inflation and the way things are going, and I'm going to say this, most people want to blame Trump for COVID. You cannot blame somebody for an outbreak. Everybody around the globe has been dealing with the same issue of getting back after COVID. This is not a Trump versus Kamala thing. This is not a Trump versus Biden thing. If we're looking at it fairly, everybody around the globe is suffering economically because of COVID. So it didn't matter if we had Obama in presidency. It doesn't matter if we had Biden in presidency. It doesn't matter who was in presidency. Everybody was going to feel the effects of what COVID had done to us economically, as globally economically, right? So everybody's feeling the brunt of that. So we got to stop this whole politicizing COVID and who did what during COVID and all of that stuff, because it's incorrect. The economy was good before COVID, and it was horrible after COVID. But why is that? Because we had a great pause, a great reset as far as the economy goes, as far as how we do business. A lot of businesses went under, and we still got businesses even today that are going under because of the effects of COVID. So we have to figure out as a country how to economically thrive without losing our way, but whose policies are going to get us there? Is it going to be a globalist policy where we have with inside the Biden administration, where it's a globalist policy, where we're going to try to make the globe boom, right? We're going to make everything on the globe, we're going to boom on a global stage to bring money into the United States. But when we look on a global stage, the only big global partners, the only good global players that are going to make money on a global stage are those who can operate on a global stage, and those are companies. And we know you're not going to get no kickback from a global company. You're just not going to, the average person is not going to get, there's no such thing as trickle down economics ever working. You're not going to get a company to give back to the people. The company is there for itself. We already have, as far as constitutionally, anything that has to do with money is speech right now. And an actual business entity is a person. Go look it up yourself. Every single one of these companies at a certain point become a person. It's an entity unto itself, and the money is the speech. What does that say to you? Again, what are we voting for? Are we voting for the policies of a globalist establishment, or are we going to vote for a platform that says we need to take care of us first? So you have two different mindsets. Let's go global, or let's take care of us first. Me personally, I'm more of a conservative who says we need to take care of us first. We need to protect our borders, because as we can see with the border crisis, New York is suffering, Chicago is suffering, California is suffering. All of these places, because we have this policy of open borders and shipping new bodies into the country, it's causing very much so a lot of peril in the black communities. It's affecting us because we don't own much of anything. We don't really, as a black community, we don't own anything. And almost everything we've ever owned, we gave it away. We don't own any media sources anymore. They gave away BET. Everything that says black on it is owned by either Arabs or white people. That's just the honest truth. Almost all of your brands eventually sell out, and they don't sell to black people. They don't give it back. They don't. And I learned this growing up, watching my grandparents do it. Black people have no understanding of nepotism, and it creates because we don't understand nepotism and passing something along or passing it down with inside of the collective group. Guess what happens? We lose economically. We don't have any money to even lobby for ourselves. The reason why the Black Panther Party was such a threat was because when you get enough people together and you start establishing a community that can support itself by itself without the outside forces, guess what? They become a threat. Why is it that we had why did we have why do we have to desegregate? Desegregation happened because our white counterparts economically were seeing the growth in the black community by us staying with ourselves. So when you start to look at history and how this operates, the reason why they have to pander to us as black people is because they need us. They need us economically, because black people, if you look at it, for our voting block, for us to only be 13% of the country, guess what? We spend almost more money than everybody else. That means we make almost more money than everybody else. But if we're making more money than everybody else, where's the money going? Where's the money going? Where is the money going? It's going out of the community. It's going to other communities, right? So this is not a Kamala Harris Yes, I am a conservative. I'm a black conservative, but I am not a person to say I'm going to vote for one person because of identity politics. I'm going to vote this person because this has always been the thing that we've done. I'm going to look at the platform to which this person has, and I'm going to evaluate what that will do to affect the black community. Now, we've already had Biden and Harris. Yeah, it was Amber Rose. I just seen that, bro. It was we've seen Biden and Harris, both of them, and we've been able to see the policies that both of them have. Right? We've been able to see it. We can see what a Biden Harris Biden administration looks like. We've seen what a Trump administration looks like. We know what it looked like. We've already tried it. So this is the time, and this is one of those voting, these parts as far as us voting is so important, because this could be the catalyst of seeing what it is, our future is going to look like, right? We're going to see what our future is going to look like when it comes to this voting cycle. Right? So are we going to continue to have these issues where and I can show you the videos, but I think people are unaware of what people are saying. What people are saying in places like Chicago. And why you're going to see Chicago. I'm telling you right now, because of the migrant issue, you're gonna see Chicago flip red. You are going to see Chicago flip red because of the migrant crisis, right? So there's a lot of issues going on in Chicago right now that people are literally fighting over. And let's look at it.
Emotional outbursts, at times so heated, police had to step in. We're talking about city council today and a vote to spend $51 million on helping migrants here in Chicago. CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kosloff was there for all the action, and Dana, strong feelings all around.
Yeah, Erica, and for many different reasons, among them the fact that this $51 million approved today is only a short-term fix, and more money will be needed in just weeks.
We cannot continue to falsely pit communities against one another.
Deep emotional wounds coming to the surface.
As black people who have been hurt continuously by the city and country it loves, it ain't our responsibility to take care of everybody else.
And anger.
We don't want to have to recall anybody. We don't want to have to protest anybody, but we are not going to be ignored, Brandon. Mayor Johnson.
Many in Chicago's black community and the city council speaking out against spending $51 million to house migrants, asking when will the help for them finally become a reality.
And it cannot be put on the backs of the residents of Chicago without showing them that they're getting something out of this.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, presiding over his second full city council meeting, had to ask for calm more than once.
Will the Sergeant of Arms please restore some order?
Police also intervening at one point to allow the meeting to proceed. Ultimately, the measure passed with 34 votes. Many who voted to approve the money, like 49th Ward Alderwoman Maria Haddon, call this an immediate crisis that needs attention. But, she says, so do concerns of the city's black residents.
Why are black people in Chicago and some communities so angry? Why is all this kind of anti-immigrant sentiment coming up? And I want to explain to folks, it's because if we cared as much about black people and had over the decades as we do about everyone else, we wouldn't be here.
But the money from a 2021 budget surplus will only last 1 month. Many alderpeople say it's time for a long-term plan and some state and federal help. With that, should taxpayers be concerned?
I think we should all be concerned anytime we're having to utilize this level of resources on a temporary situation, especially with not a real sight of federal support coming.
Hours after the meeting, Mayor Brandon Johnson offered no specifics.
We're going to have to dig.
So again, like, if we really look at if we really look at what the reason why it's important for us to see that Kamala Harris is not going to do anything for black people. She's not going to do. Y'all are stuck, bro. We as a black community are in a place where we are screwed. We're screwed. I just showed, this is just Chicago. This conversation is not just in Chicago. This conversation is going on in Texas. It's going on in Louisiana. It's going on everywhere that you have them busing immigrants into these cities. They're having this conversation. That's across America. And they're busing them into the community, into black communities, and taking the money out of the black communities to take care of people who are not paying into the community. So when you really look at what's going on, and I get it. Some of my brothers and my sisters, they want to hate Trump so bad. They want to do this, that, and the third. But you have to understand what the policies of the people that you're voting for are doing to your own people. If you can't see that these policies are actually hurting the communities that we want to bring together, you got a problem. You got a problem. If you think black people are disenfranchised, are still being disenfranchised, and you can't see this as a form of institutional racism, if you can't see this as a form of black institutional racism, I don't know what to tell you. People have been telling us this for decades now. Guess what the Democrats are going to do? The Democrats are trying to open up borders in order for them to get more votes from the illegal immigrants. And when they get the votes from the illegal immigrants, they're no longer going to need the black vote. That's what they've been saying. As long as they can remove us from that, guess what? They never got to give you reparations. They never got to give you nothing. They never have to give you a dime. They don't have to give you nothing. They can keep giving you this all of these symbolic things. Yeah, they took down they renamed Fort Lee to Fort whatever it is now. They took down all of the names of the school that was war. They took down all of the monuments. They did all of this symbolic things, but there was no legislation in any of these states governed by this certain party that even affected. We can say, okay, the Republicans, we know the Republicans are not going to do it, but the party that says that they are for us has never created anything for us. They only expect us to do as they want us to do. If that's not a slave-master relationship, I don't know what to tell you. It's a slave-master relationship. You can't keep on telling me that I need to vote for you just because you're for me, but you haven't given me anything tangible to even show that you even care about my community. I can see what Trump did. Obama didn't give money like that to the HBCUs. Trump did. Right? Black home ownership went through the roof with Trump. I knew more people who was getting homes that were black people during the Trump administration than any other administration. And I'm talking about George Bush, Bill Clinton, any of those people. And I'm talking about on both sides of the aisle. The reason why that Keystone Pipeline was so important was so we wouldn't have to feel the effects of having foreign oil pouring into our country. And guess what happened? We lost a lot of jobs because of the Keystone Pipeline was taken out, as well as we felt the effects. Yes, we're supposed to be using our surplus that we have in our country, drilling for our own oil in order to maintain our status. Again, we could actually be trading in oil instead of importing. And this is one of the reasons why I can't, because of the policies that are going on, these globalist policies that are talking about importing more than exporting, I can't do it. Remember during COVID, because Donald Trump during COVID, and I love his business models. I'm not really for him as a person, but the business model that he created was working even during COVID. And the reason why I say this is because when we remember what he did during COVID, right? We had multiple. At one point in time, we didn't have enough N95 mask, right? So what did he do? They actually put money behind the companies here in America to start making them and selling them, to the point where we made and sold so many, we had enough of a surplus of something being made in America that we started to sell them to other countries. That's the mind state of somebody who is about home first, vice versa somebody who is globalist. In a globalist mind state, I'm going to get the surplus from other countries and import it in. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to use tariffs so that so that they have to pay us the tariffs, right, to import it. So now I'm going to put a tariff on this country. So when they import into this country, we make the money off the tariffs, and the government makes the money off the tariffs. But what about the people? This is why when industrialization was happening, you had families being able to take care of themselves, as far as off of one income, where you had the father in the home, he was able to take care of a family regardless of size off of one or two incomes. Yes, we did have poor still in those days, but it was more of a common occurrence that we were able to do those things, right? This is why we have the argument now. Men can't afford to take care of a whole household. Women have to do this, that, and the third. It's because the economy has changed. We're in a digital economy right now. Gone are the days where a man can go to Philip Morris and go make a living wage. Gone are the days where you can go to the Toyota factory in Detroit and make a living wage. Gone are those days. We don't live in that type of country anymore. Everything is about bureaucracy and paperwork, right? And what you can do online. Manufacturing has left America, even to the point of telemarketing. We import telemarketers to speak to us in America from American companies. They literally took your call center jobs and shipped them overseas because they don't got to pay enough. They don't have to pay them a living wage, but they got to pay you a living wage. Right? Same thing with tech companies. A lot of the tech companies are going to go to Mexico. Why? Because they have to pay less in those countries. Same thing with China. You can pay them less than a living wage. Still a wage. They still got to eat. But that's a slave mentality. America was supposed to leave the slave mentality and not go towards the slave mentality. And guess what is going to happen with these illegal immigrants? They're going to get kicked out, and it's one or two things that's going to happen. You're going to see an uptick in crime, because we are seeing an uptick in crime in a lot of these spaces, right? With the illegal immigrants, we're seeing an uptick in crime, which means that this is a feeder. This could actually be a feeder for the prison industrial complex. So now you got people who are legal aliens who are going into the American jail system to keep it at 100% occupancy, right? Or they're going to start to build more jails so they can be able to put more immigrants into them, and then we're going to have slave centers. So if you really cared about these people, if you really cared about the government, if you really cared about America, you would try to keep them out of this system that is trying to keep them in chains the same way that this system is trying to keep us in chains. Why do you think the rap music is the way it is? Rap music is the way it is because they're trying to funnel us into the prisons. Ice Cube just told us almost everybody who owns parts in the music industry owns what? Parts in the prison industrial complex. Majority of these people who you see you're voting for have stocks and reasons or connections to the prison industrial complex. But because we liberals, we can't see that. Because we're liberals, we can't see that the same people that smile up in our face, that when it come and bring out Megan Thee Stallion, are part of the prison industrial complex. Kamala Harris is a part of the prison industrial complex as well. I would say even Trump is a part of that prison industrial complex. I don't know what his share prices are, but I know one thing. I can see that his biggest investments, we can see a lot of his biggest investments. Mar-a-Lago, Trump University, all of these other things, these wacky things that he's failed at. He's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. We see that. But why is it that we continuously want to create this prison? And again, when you look at I think it's the 13th Amendment, the 13th Amendment says that you are a slave once you become in prison. You lose all your rights when you become in prison. Every single one of your rights is removed from you when you become in prison. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. I want somebody to tell me that I'm lying. You can't show me that I'm lying. That is the game that they're playing. If they can keep us underpaid, we're always going to be in the system. This is why I like the Republican platform. Because the Republican platform, however, I don't like it as a whole, but I like it as it's trying to wean us off of having government intervene in so many of these places that it needs to keep its nose out of. A lot of times the states need to handle that. Roe v. Wade is a state issue. The federal government should be keeping its nose out of the medical industry as much as it can. States need to handle that. You see what they said on this? They said we need more federal money in order to help us with this migrant crisis. Watch it again. We need more federal money to help us with this migrant issue. Where is it at? Let me see if I can find that clip where that man is talking. Here it is, right here.
Earned.
I think we should all be concerned anytime we're having to utilize this level of resources on a temporary situation, especially with not a real sight of federal support coming.
Hours after the meeting.
So the same people that created the policies for open borders is not giving any help to the states when they're the ones who have to implement these policies. You see what I'm saying? The federal government is trying to screw states. All of the Democrats in the state government have to stay on the towing the party line. They have to. They have to stay towing the party line. They're not going to go against their own party. So if President Obama or President Harris or President Biden or President whoever says that we're going to have open borders, guess what? All these other states who are oversaw by a democratic establishment are going to do what? They're going to follow suit. Why? Because they want their seat. Why? Because they still want their donor money. Why? Because they want all of these perks that it comes with being a Democrat. So they have a personal investment and staying the course, right? And it has nothing to do with the actual people that they're serving. And y'all think it's just a migrant thing? No, it's not just the migrant crisis. It's everything.
So I just want to be clear first. To be clear, we are not upset with the individuals who are being allowed to cross the borders into America. Let me make that very clear because people get it confused. We are, however, outraged with the government's response and our elected officials' blatant disregard to the local crisis Black families and children are facing now in our city. It is disingenuous and highly disrespectful to come into neighborhoods that have suffered decades of disinvestment, redlining, poverty, and violence to tell them you're taking resources away only to give it to another group of people that you allowed to cross the border illegally. How dare you put these poor people against us, especially because the very reason you claim they're here to seek asylum is the same reason and terror and injustice Black people face today. Chicago is working on an issue without addressing the current issue that it has with the communities that are suffering. And we're seeing resources fly out to help, but we're not getting that same type of support at the magnitude we're seeing now. And to expect us to foot the bill and hand over our already limited resources, public parks and school buildings that have been unjustly closed in the first place. Now you're putting a strain on our police officers and stations, obstructing their ability to do their jobs, serve our community, and our community to go into police stations to receive services. In addition, it's inhumane to welcome people only to have them sleeping on floors in buildings and in tents that cannot withstand the wind of Chicago. Brandon Johnson ran on the promise that he would listen to our community. And in the beginning of this crisis stated that he would not re-traumatize those communities that are still suffering from the impact of school closing, redline, and violence. We are here today demanding that the city of Chicago and Brandon Johnson stop disrupting park programs, taking away from our children and families that depend on those services. We want him to stop using public school buildings as housing because they're not zoned as such. And specifically for this building was promised to the community, and our children deserve a high school. A high school, we want to reopen this as one because we do not have a neighborhood high school. That school over there is not a neighborhood school. It's a selective enrollment that actually restricts our neighborhood kids from going. So that's a violation of our civil rights, and we want this building. We pay taxes for it. Yes. We are also demanding a full independent audit of how our tax money is being spent.
That's right.
We still have a homeless crisis. Black Americans have the highest rate of homelessness, including youth. We want to know how they're being housed, if they're being housed, what money is being spent on them. We need to know how money is being spent on our education system. Well, we now see that Chicago public schools and all city agencies are focusing on migrant children. That's right. Migrant children deserve to have equal access to education, and so does Black children who have historically been denied that right. This is an example of that. Building being closed when there's high school students all around here who have to travel far to go to school. My daughter travels 15 miles outside of her neighborhood to go to school. How dare the city of Chicago try to take this building, make her walk past a building that they're giving to people they allowed to come here illegally, and have her go past a half-empty building on the corner that she can't go to go to school. And she is a symbol of majority of Black children in the city of Chicago that are being denied rights, that are not being seen in this crisis that has been engineered. Again, we're not here saying we're against individual people who cross this border. We're mad at our government for putting them against us.
That's right.
Because that is what's happening.
That's right.
for all of my, you better vote for Kamala Harris, Democrats out there. Y'all was on my post when I told y'all. I sat here, I made a post, and I told y'all to y'all face that this is what's going on, and y'all told me I was crazy. I didn't know what I was talking about, but evidently y'all not listening to the people, because the people was the ones that got to vote for the electorate, for the electoral college to even make a vote for who gonna be president, right? But y'all sat in my face, and tried to argue me down like I didn't know politically what was going on. Black men are not voting for Kamala Harris like that, because black men want something tangible. And then you have huge communities of black people who are being disenfranchised by the policies that are created by the Biden and Harris administration. You think they're going to continue to vote for that when they can see for themselves what is going on? So you got the migrant crisis that they have, that the Biden administration created. You have the disenfranchisement of black people. You have them disgruntled because, I keep telling y'all, they're not going to get the black vote. They're not going to get the black vote. I don't care how much you try to say, oh, she's a AKA, she's a black woman, this, that, and the third. I don't care how much you say that. People are living what they're seeing. They're living it. And if you think this is the only thing, I'm just showing you what the people are saying. I'm showing you what the people are saying. Most of y'all ain't listening to the people. Just because you got money don't mean everybody else got money. Just because you don't see it don't mean everybody else ain't seeing it. And all of my partners, oh, I just can't vote for Trump. I just can't vote for Trump for this. Guess what? You're disenfranchising your own people because you're because you choose to vote on party lines and say that I don't care what the platform is, as long as it's not Trump, I'm okay with it. I don't care. You know what? I didn't care who it was I was voting for, as long as I can see what their policies were and what if their policies were going to actually affect the black community. But look at how our black community is being affected when it comes to this. They want to pander, and I started this off talking about identity politics. So if you're going to pander to me because I'm a black man, because I'm a black woman, because of my blackness, you better do something for my blackness because of that. Don't come to me politically and try to say grandstand and give me Meg Thee Stallion and give me Quavo, but you ain't giving me nothing else that's going to allow me to live my life freely as a black person in America. I don't want to see your blackness on display when it comes to vote. I want to see your blackness on display when it comes to writing policies that are going to affect my community. I will never vote for another Democrat until I can see policies being made that are going to actually affect my community. Positively, not negatively. Positively affect my community. So you can call me a coon, you can call me whatever you want to call me, but I am not going to sit here and let somebody play in my face. I don't even let regular people play in my face. I doggone sure not going to let the American government play in my face when they doing stuff to my people, which is disenfranchising my people, and we can see it in plain sight. These people that's talking right now, these people that voted for Biden, these people that voted for Harris, these people that voted for Obama, and you gonna sit there and look in their face and tell them they're wrong for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris when or voting for Biden, which is basically the same administration? You gonna spit in their face saying that they're wrong because we need to make sure we have a woman as a president? That's what you're doing now? Is that what we doing now? They done got y'all so mixed up in the mind, you don't care about policies, you care about identity. Y'all care more about what it looked like than what it is. Y'all care more about what it looked like than what it is. And this isn't just a black thing, because I want to talk about this in the aspect of the church. Because the black church, guess who they coming to next? They coming to us. We know that the black church and the white church segregated. Let's not play like we don't know that. Let's not play like all the white Pentecostals and black Pentecostals go to church together. Let's not play like that. Let's not act like Methodists in a black community and Methodists in a white community get along with one another. Let's not act like that. It's the will of God for it to be that way. But humans are in play right now. But guess where they coming to next? You're going to see Kamala Harris with somebody big time black preacher somewhere next. When was the last time you seen Kamala Harris at a black church? Only time they come to the black community, the black church, is when they need us to vote. That's on the government, that's on the state level and on the federal level. State level and federal level. So again, we got to stop letting these people play in our face. Stop letting these people play in your face. They're not for you. You got to make these people be for you. This is the only time that I even agree with Dr. Umar Johnson. This is the only time I even really agree with Dr. Umar Johnson. And you don't just have Dr. Umar Johnson speaking out on her. Even Judge Joe Brown speaking out against her. Come on, man. We got so many of our black leaders speaking out against Kamala Harris. It's not even funny, bro. It's not funny. So many people in the public, and I'm not going to say leaders, in the public eye of black people, so many of these people are in agreement to not have Kamala Harris as a president to represent blackness.
This is the same woman who went on international television, Art, let me remind you, about a year or two ago and said America is not a racist country. You want me to go vote for a so-called black woman who went on international television and told the world that America is not a racist country. She spit in the face of the family of Trayvon Martin. She spit in the face of the family of Breonna Taylor. She spit in the face of the family of Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Amir Locke, Dante. We can go on and on. Tamir Rice, all the Africans murdered by police, which are state-sanctioned executions. Let us be clear. The police are agents of the state. When the police kills a black person, that is a state-sponsored execution. And in response to all this racism, the execution of George Floyd, this part-time black woman says America is not racist. And when I say part-time, Art, I'm not poking fun at her because she's being mixed race. I want to be clear. I'm poking fun at her because she can rarely be found speaking up for black people. My issue ain't her being mixed race. Nobody's responsible for how they come into this world. My issue with her is not identifying with her people. I remember another interview I saw with Kamala Harris, Art, and she said, somebody asked her, what are y'all going to do for black people? And she said, we can't pass laws just for black people. She said this, we can't do things just for black. Well, Kamala Harris, can I ask you a question, Madam Vice President? If the Democratic Party can't do anything just for black people, why did y'all pass a law only for Asians? Why did y'all pass a law only for Native Americans? Why did y'all pass a law only for transgenders? Why did y'all pass a law only for LGBTQs? Why did y'all pass a law only for immigrants. If you can't do anything just for black people, this is what she said. It came out of her mouth. If you can't do anything just for black people, how was it possible for you and President Biden to do all these other things for specific ethnic groups in this country from whose benefit no other group can take anything from? Complete contradiction. Kamala Harris is not for black people. But you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you why they went that way, or if they stay that way. They could flip her out. But let's say, for the sake of conversation, because Joe Biden did pass her his nomination, even though it's not his decision. She has his support, but the party got to choose her in Chicago. But let's say Kamala Harris gets the Democratic Party nomination in Chicago the week of my birthday, August 19th, I believe the DNC begins, or the 17th. Anyhow, here's why they're going to go that way, Art. Why are the Democrats about to give us the first woman president in American history? I'm going to tell you why. In 2022, there were 10 million more women registered to vote than men in America. Now I'm talking everybody, Art. Black, white, red, yellow, brown, gay, straight, everybody. There were 10 million more women registered to vote than men, even though there's only about 3 more million women than men in this country. Population-wise, there's not a great gender disparity. You only see that when you come to the black community for reasons of extermination, incarceration, okay, miseducation, right, and sexual confusion, right? So outside of black America, the male-female gender balance is almost the same.
And I'm going to stop right there because I want to go to Judge Joe Brown and see what Judge Joe Brown says. Because I want y'all to see that these ideologies are not the same ideologies. Judge Joe Brown not going to agree with Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Umar Johnson ain't going to agree with Judge Joe Brown on everything. But look at these black ideologies and look at and see how they all see Kamala Harris. And y'all think that these aren't the ideologies that are going around in black America? You're tripping yourself. You're tweaking.
And in this video with popular TV star Judge Joe Brown's competence, we used to roast her on her cackling and not doing a primary for the position of, but later lost the election. And in Valuetainment's interview with him,
Imhoff in there. And you got Queenla Imhoff in there. You know who Imhoff is?
No.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Mrs. Imhoff, Vice President of the United States, who goes by her maiden name.
Miss Kamala?
Kamala Harris. She's got 2 Jewish children she adopted. She married a Jewish husband who's got a interesting...
I'm scared to talk about Kamala Harris. I'll let you have that one.
She's a witch, and she is a corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she f***ed her way to the top.
Oh, Lord.
They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapades. She's damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a frat hoe when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know,
I ain't got to do with this, Miss Harris.
Nah, I mean, well, don't.
she screwed her way to the top.
Even Judge Joe Brown is saying stuff about Kamala Harris. Y'all keep thinking that these people are in agreement with her, and they not. Amanda Seals. Again, we might not like Amanda Seals, but Amanda Seals speaks for a huge, for a sector of the black community.
Harris, who's trying to shut me the fuck up.
Excuse
Because I
the
told
language.
her straight up that I feel like she is disingenuous in her messaging.
Listen, 2 things can be true at the same time. And I'm going to rewind this. You know what we do over here. I'm going to rewind it.
Come on,
and
Anton,
I want to
shut
start it
up.
from scratch.
And I
so
don't
we
even
can
like
get the full
Anton Daniels like that.
I don't need politicians to state things. I need politicians to do things. When I met with Kamala Harris, after she summoned me,
Like you had
I
to
said
meet
to her
with
straight up, you talk out 2 sides of your neck and we don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kamala Harris who's trying to shut me the fuck up. Because I told her straight up that I feel like she is disingenuous in her messaging.
She don't like...
Again, I keep trying to tell y'all, and And people gonna be like, oh, you listening to the headlines. No, I'm listening to what the people are saying. I'm listening to what the people are saying. This is the hubris of the Democratic Party, especially black Democrats, that think that the Democrats have it in the bag. The election is in 100 days. You think they got it in a bag? They don't have it in the bag. The Democrats do not have it in the bag. They don't. They don't have it in the bag. That's why they're pandering to black people to vote for them, because they swear they got it in the bag. As long as we get the black vote, we got it. No. Y'all finna lose the black vote because y'all not listening to the people. You're not listening to the people. And the people are saying out of their mouths they're tired of not being heard. And what happened the last time we saw a huge swath of America stand up and say we not being heard? We got Donald Trump. How do y'all think we got Donald Trump the first time? Because all of those people in those areas that were far and off said that y'all won't listen to us. Y'all don't listen to us. So forget y'all who are there sitting in y'all high castles in these cities. We're going to vote for Trump because Trump actually hears what it is that's going on and he's listening. So what you think going to happen this time? You think black people just going to stand up as a whole and just say, yeah, we're going to vote for Kamala Harris? Bro, you're tweaking. And I'm showing you black people that are not Democrats, that are not friends with Trump. These people not friends with Trump. These are not Trumpers. But these are black people in the vote she needs, in the voting block she needs. Like, what? Are you serious? Are you sure? Are you sure? I don't care what y'all say on morning radio. You're not going to, Kamala Harris is not going to win because she's not going to get the majority black vote. Simple as that. And a lot of people, black people, have already switched parties. It's like 19% have switched parties in the black community. That's what CNN said. I didn't say it. CNN said it. Let's see where it is. Let's see where it is. I need to find this video. I need to find this video because it's a recent video. It's a recent video that was played. I need to find it. I need to find it because there were black callers. And I just seen this, John. And then after this, I gotta go. And I don't know why I can't find it now. I probably can't find it because they trying to bury it. They probably trying to bury that junk. Let's find it. Let's see if I can find it in my history. In my history. I'm gonna look for my full history. Cause you're not gonna be able to get away from this. I don't care how much you love Kamala Harris. Y'all not gonna be able to get away from this, yo. You're just not gonna be able to get away from it. It is what it is. Y'all need to accept the fact that you're going to take this L if you think that Kamala Harris is going to win. She's not. Kamala Harris is not going to win presidency. And it's because the Democratic Party has continued to ignore black people. They will pander to black people, but then they will ignore black people. Here it is. I just found it. Listen to what the people saying. Don't listen to me. Listen to what the people saying. And I hope this is it.
Black vote and nothing changes. And when I say no,
Fall in line, well, just listen.
okay, so first let me say I'm so happy to see a woman brought up for president, and I'm grateful for that. However, does that mean I was on the fence even with Biden running again? Because everyone talks about, oh, let's get the black vote, let's get the black vote, and they get the black vote and nothing changes. And when I say nothing, I mean our education system. Our children are suffering in New York City public schools. And let's talk about services. My brother's paraplegic. He got hit by a drunken driver. It's very hard for him to get services. And I understand that they allow the migrants to come in, but they come in and they just overwhelm them with services. And they forget about the people that are already here. So what's going to change with that? What are they going to do with the black agenda to help our children that's struggling in New York City public schools? They're not even on the same level as other kids in other countries. And that's what my concern is. So is something going to change because Kamala's running instead of Biden? Like, help me out. We're confused here.
Well, those are all valid questions. A lot of those things you named are local issues, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's stuff you should be going to your local government with.
Yeah.
I don't think America's ready. I don't think America's ready for a female president. You know what? I'm a black man, and I absolutely do not want another Democratic president in there. I think we should give the Republicans another try. There's a lot of agendas that the Democratic Party has kind of put into place that I don't support. I think they're destroying the black man. They're destroying the black family. I think they're ruining our country. And if you're living in New York like I am, man, this place is a financial nightmare, not to mention crime. I think if we put Trump back in there, man, it's going to be amazing. Kamala cannot do what he's going to do to bring this country back to where it needs to be. And this is not a race thing, because that's the number one thing they like to say when they talk about Trump and how he's a criminal and blah, 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 blah. I don't think any of that matters. His policies are what we need to focus on, and he's going to get us back where we need to go. Kamala is not ready.
Yeah, probably not exactly what they were looking for. I think Democrats are stuck in their old ways, you know?
I keep telling y'all that the people are saying what they want to say. And y'all keep ignoring the people. And the more that you ignore the people, the more you're going to have issues when it comes time to vote. Y'all got 100 days to guarantee these people that they're going to get something for their vote. But guess what? Because y'all already think y'all got it in their bag, y'all not going to do that. And this is why Kamala Harris is going to lose the election. She's going to lose the election. She is going to lose this election. Because they're not listening to the people. This ain't no black thing. This ain't no white thing. While y'all worried about the politics, or worried about while y'all worried about identity politics and getting a woman in a chair, guess what? The rest of America don't care about that. Black America don't care about that no more. Black America cares about policy and what kind of policy is going to affect their lives. And until you get that through your head, Miss Harris, or any other Democrat, y'all going to continue to lose the black vote and continue to see black people switch back to being Republicans. Oh, y'all didn't remember black people used to be Republicans? Yes, black people used to be Republicans before they were Democrats. You're going to see a party switch. And it's going to end up being because of the generations. The generation after us is going to be told, don't vote for Republicans. Don't vote Democrats because they lie to black people. They'll tell you, until you get something from these people, don't vote. These are the things that you're going to hear. I guarantee it. And if they may do something, and they may not do something. I don't know. But I know one thing. I'm tired of them people playing in my face. And I'm tired of them people playing in your face. With that said, man, I love y'all, man.